Hey, God Living Here family, welcome back. Welcome if you're a first time viewer. All glory be to God. So, um, I had to go back over this, but I read it a couple of days ago and I wanted to go over it with you guys, but I didn't. So, I'm going to go over it with you now. And I titled this Accountability Partner. So, first, all glory be to God. All glory be to God. Because, so, um, I'm still in Exodus where Moses has reunited with his father in law and his children and his wife. And Jethro is his father in law. And he comes up to his to Moses and you know they they hug it out and stuff and ask about each other's welfare and you know uh Moses tells Jethro about everything that took place and how they were freed. So Jethro in Exodus 18, verse 10, it says, "And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord who hath delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who hath delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians." And then I have it highlighted. But he says, "Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for in the thing wherein they dealt proudly, he was above them." So um there's these other gods, right? There's these other gods, and then it had me to think about how remember I was telling you, I think his name, I don't know. It's not Timothy, it's what's that guy name? It may be Timothy. But anyways, how he was saying how Abraham, it wasn't just Abraham just completely being obedient to God and sacrificing his son, but it was because they were used to idol worshiping and stuff like that. And to think about it, it is possible, right? Because the Bible don't say it with Abraham. It just says it went from Adam, Eve, Cain, Abel, Cain, vagabond, and stuff like that. Then had another son, Abel, Seth. I'm sorry, Seth, instead of him. And then comes Abraham. And so he was supposed to be getting up out of his father's household. And so the Lord can take him to a place where he was going to be fruitful and multiply and things like that. But it never did say that they were already doing idol worshiping and things like that. So I forgot about Noah. I'm sorry. Because it's Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Yeah. But anyway, um, hi, baby. Good morning. So, yeah. But he was like, well, now I know, this is Jethro. And he was like, well, now I know that the Lord is greater than all the gods. So it's some level of idol worshiping, right? Where they deem it to be other gods, just like it is now. But furthermore, so he comes to the realization because of Moses' testimony, right? Now he knows that God is real. And so uh it comes to where 13, it says, verse 13, Moses judges the people. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moses from the morning until the evening. So all day, all night, they over here asking Moses what to do. And when Moses' father-in-law saw that he saw what all that he did to the people, he said, "What is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone?" And that's why I named this accountability partner. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, "What is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou alone, thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning until evening?" And Moses said unto the father-in-law, "Because the people come unto me to inquire of God." Remember the one day I was saying, I don't know, it might have been one of the erased, but remember what I was saying, people look at Christians or believers who wholeheartedly wants to please God and wants to walk in obedience to God. And they look at them as, being lame or holier than thou and things like that, until it comes a time where they're like, "Hey, can you pray for me? Hey, can you intercede for me because I'm going through this or I'm going through that." Or Christians or believers might be doing that and people don't even know it, and they can be being mean, they can be talking, gossiping about this person, like, "Oh, look at them, they think they this and they think they that because they didn't got to the Bible, they didn't found the Bible, or they once was this, and look at them now and they in the Bible talking to the white man's God and all of this stuff," right? But Moses is but he says, um and Moses said unto his father-in-law, "Because the people come unto me to inquire of God. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one another, and I do make them know the statutes of God and his laws." And another thing is like, when do we entreat God for ourselves? Like, right? Because we can't get to heaven on somebody else's oil. We cannot get to, we cannot. Jesus came so that he'll be an intercessor for us all. So that way, um, you know, we can inquire of God ourselves. Like, that's what Jesus came down for. But the thing is that we have to believe. And another thing is that once we around people, that's why we have to be careful of what we're around. Like, stuff is that spiritual, it is that deep, right? Because we're not wrestling with flesh and blood, we are wrestling with spirits and principalities and darkness and high places and things like that. So it is that deep, it do get that deep, y'all. So you got your watch, you got your shoes on, deodorant. So so yeah, it does get that deep. And so when we're out here and we're seeing the world going about their business, and we know some people out here being wicked and doing things like that, and it's like, "Well, Lord, I'm following your instructions, I'm being obedient, and I'm doing what the Bible says do, but I'll keep getting the short end of the stick." So then we sometimes a believer or a person that's following Christ will be like, "Well, dang, I might can indulge my flesh, or I can indulge in his pleasure and ask God for forgiveness, because he has grace sufficient for us." But then that's an open door for the enemy to come and torment you. For those, again, for those spirits, those demons to come in bringing 7 more with them because they find the house swept clean, right? From whatever you then dealt with the other person, right? Because it's transactional. We're not just out here by ourselves, committing sin. It was the enemy, that it was the Satan, the serpent that went up to Eve, right? She wasn't just, that's why all of them got punished, right? So it's just not just us out here doing it, it's us and somebody else, right? But yeah, so we have to make sure that we're going to God. If we're going to be a believer, we have to make sure that we go to Christ and have him to intercede for us and be a believer and know wholeheartedly that he got us, regardless how bad stuff may seem, how things may not be going your way or how it looks, right? Continue to, and another thing is patience. It's like we have to have patience. I believe if we had the patience back then in the garden, that we would have been all right. It's the lack of patience, because the tree of life was also there. And now, as it is, people in a position of power, or feel like they're smart, or feel like they have all the money, the only thing that I feel like they feel like they're missing is life, like being immortal, right? People want to see how they can live longer, how they can extend their life now that they got all the money and the power, right? And so and Moses, back to this 17, and Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away. When we're trying to judge, thou shalt surely wear away, both thou and this people that is with thee. For this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Accountability partner, y'all. Hearken now unto my voice. I will give thee counsel. And this is good. He can take up on his counsel, his father-in-law's counsel, right? He dwelt with him before he went to Egypt, right? And then when he come back and gave the testimony of how God saved the Israelites, he says, Jethro, the father-in-law, was like, now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods. For in the thing wherein they dwelt proudly, he was above them. All of the magicians and the tricks and stuff like that Pharaoh and them tried to do, right? And there's other gods, right? Other gods that people are believing in. But he says, hearken now unto my voice. I will give thee counsel, and God shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to Godward, that thou mayest bring the cause unto God. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. It's not ours, it's in here. So when we're dealing with the world and people that's in the world and not believers and stuff like this, it's this that we're abiding by. It's this that we're judging by. A righteous judge. Not saying, oh, you wicked, perverse person. No, it's in the word. And until you come up to a person and a thing, right? Until you're where God has you to be, is when you can do the judging, not just going out pointing your finger at people and trying to judge people because you feel like you are holier than thou and you done got God, and so you feel like you can do that. We about to go, baby. He says, ooh, you smell good. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men. This is the accountability partners, because nowadays people is like, oh, women do this and this and this and this. So men can't trust women, and nowadays women is like this, and men do this and this and this, and so men is like this nowadays, and so women can't trust men. No. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able-bodied men, such as fear God. Remember Abraham, he was like, when he was going to sacrifice Isaac, he was like, now I know that you fear the Lord. Able men such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers. These are the type of the people that should be judging people. Hating covetousness. I don't need what you have. Regardless, the truth will hurt sometimes. Eventually the truth will hurt, but it's the truth. We can't stop it from being the truth, right? And fear God, like obeying God. Like I believe this with my heart, like fear of the Lord is obedience to God, not just because you're scared, because in other aspects of the Bible or other places of the Bible, he said, I didn't give you a spirit of fear. I gave you, a spirit of sound mind. And so not necessarily just to fear him because, what he can do to us, but a fear of obedience. It's just like a obedience to him. And place such of them to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties and rulers of tens, and let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter shall bring unto thee, because Moses has good access to the Lord. And so a lot of times, like whether we should move or whether we should deal with a person, or is this my husband or is this my wife, or these are great matters, right? Because it can have an effect on our lives now and down the road, right? Because if it's not ordained by God, it's not going to work. If I should open up this business and use this money for this and give this to, because we can unconsciously or subconsciously not know that we're coming into an agreement with people. When he said this, I think it's after this. It might have been before. Moses, the father-in-law, the elders of the Israelites, and Aaron, they all ate with Moses' father-in-law, right? But that was the covenant being made with them, with him. Now that you know that Lord is God, they ate, and that become a covenant with them, with him and them. And every great matter shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. Like should I say this or should I not say this? Holding your tongue, or small stuff, right? Should I take this road or should I take this road, to work, or things like that. And it kind of brought me into what was it, King Solomon, when he was judging with the two women that had the baby, but he had asked God for wisdom. Like, we have to believe in Jesus Christ and understand that he will speak to us, but we have to be in his word in order to hear from him. Because if we're constantly on YouTube, we're constantly on TikTok, or we're constantly on whatever the other stuff is and listening to other people, we don't know who that God is. We don't know where they're getting that information from. We dealing with spirits and principalities, right? A person can look all the way normal on the outside, but wrestling on the inside. Okay, every matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee. Accountability partners. But this is accountability. Like, since we know sin, there had to been a law, right? Back then. but Jesus came to do away with the law. And so if we have love and we believe in Christ, and we abide in him and he abide in us, then his desires will be our desires. Like, and we will fulfill the law, right? We won't have the covetousness. We won't have the hate, we'll be truthful, right? With this word, the word is truth. If we abide in him, he is the word. If we abide in him and him in us, the law will be fulfilled. But the greatest one is love thy neighbor as you love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, you can't love nobody else. And to love yourself, to love yourself is to know that God is God. He is the I am that I am. But let me go, because she ready to go to school today.
Stop recording me, please.
She said stop recording me, respect for privacy. All right, y'all. But that's it. That's all. Good morning, sis. What's up, human centipede? Oh, Lord. All right, y'all. But that's it. That's all. Continue to pray for me. I'll continue to pray for y'all. I'll see y'all a little bit later. She said bye, even though she don't want to be recorded. But y'all have a good day. Love y'all. See you later. Bye.